Hello, I am Omega Pro and I wanted to talk about Mass Effect. More specifically, why it's so damn awesome. This video will remain spoiler free for the poor souls that never got to experience the masterpiece that gaming gave birth to. So without further ado, let's do this. Mass Effect is a sci-fi action third-person shooter game with a story that'll grope you by the nuts and toss you around a little bit. I was first introduced to the original Mass Effect back in early 2010. At the time, I was the kid that only played Halo and Call of Duty. However, becoming weary of copy and paste shooters, I bought Mass Effect on the Xbox 360. And that started it all. As soon as I created my badass Shepard and the first cutscene played, I was shocked at the graphics. I was under the notion that these cutscenes were pre-rendered, and while it is pre-rendered, it doesn't break the immersiveness because the graphics of the real-time game look exactly the same, if not a tiny bit worse than the actual cutscenes. These games have superb texture qualities, awesome contrast, breathtaking shadows. It's just... the graphics are great, okay? And they get better with each release. And that's one of the reasons why Mass Effect is so awesome. The graphics. I know that graphics don't make a game, so what if I told you, now bear with me here, what if I told you, are you bearing with me thus far? What if, in comparison to everything else, the graphics were the weakest points? No fucking way. That's right. The gameplay of Mass Effect is definitely one of its strong suits. The combination of RPG elements and the third-person shooting is so fucking good I can't even describe it. I think one of the best things about Mass Effect is that it doesn't fall into the very thing that ruins most third-person shooters, which is, "Hey! You should stay here and shoot that enemies for 20 minutes, okay? Bye!" Mass Effect instead paces itself. Thanks to the RPG elements, if things are going too fast for you, you can slow things down a bit and use awesome abilities depending on what class you chose for Shepard. That is another really great thing about Mass Effect, the gameplay. Each class is different enough that if you were to start a new game, choosing a different class will change how you play the game. You can choose a generic soldier that is pretty well balanced and has access to every weapon, or you can be an agile build or a biotic heavy build. Biotics are Mass Effect's version of magic in other RPGs, by the way. Just thought I should probably mention that. The gunplay in Mass Effect is also no slouch. You have access to a variety of different guns like assault rifles, pistols, shotguns, snipers, and big explosive weapons. Some classes won't have access to all of the guns though. What is great about Mass Effect's gameplay is that in each game it gets better. In the first Mass Effect, all the guns were energy based, meaning that every gun has unlimited ammo, however they run the risk of overheating after excessive use. In the next two games, they changed this to standard ammo known as thermal clips. As I previously stated, each iteration of Mass Effect gets better, so Mass Effect 2's gameplay is better than the first, and 3 trumps 2. I really commend BioWare for not being afraid to make changes to their sequels. Mass Effect 2, while bearing resemblances to the original, felt like an entirely different game. One thing that I personally missed about the original Mass Effect, however, was the massive amount of RPG elements that were present. You had so many different fields you could spend your skill points on. However, in the second game, they did away with most of that. If you're curious about the third, they struck a happy medium in that for me. Anyway, where Mass Effect 2 fell behind in RPG elements, it more than made up for in the story. I think I speak for most Mass Effect fans in that Mass Effect 2 was the most pivotal game in the entire series, as it should be, seeing as though Mass Effect 1 is the build-up, Mass Effect 3 is obviously the ending, and 2 is the climax. Finally, the undeniable best part of the entire series is the story. Each game has its own set of issues going on that makes it unique in comparison to the others in the series, but still it remains connected. In the first game, you must prove the humans' worth in the universe while trying to decipher the evil Saren's plans. You go through the whole, Saren can't be evil, he's a Spectre and he's so good. To which you reply, you idiot bitches, I seen him do some messed up shit, man, I swear it. To which they say, Shepard, what are you doing? Shepard, Stop! Basically, the first game is setting up the series. You have to prove yourself and find out what exactly is going on. Why is Saren so cray? I don't recall being in Paris. Why is the council so mentally absent? While you never find out why the council is so stupid, you do get your questions answered. And that's what's amazing. Your questions get answered while at the same time leaving enough open-endedness for a sequel. A sequel, by the way, that improves the story of what you just played. In Mass Effect 2, Shepard becomes acquainted with a corporation called Cerberus and carries out a few missions by the Elusive Man, aka the boss guy man guy thing shit. What really makes Mass Effect 2 my favorite game in the entire series is that this is the game where you get to know your crew, you build bridges, friendships, and you actually care for these crew members. You want to do good by them, not for the sake of progressing through the story, but because you are actually invested in these characters and you want to know what their story is. It makes the departures of said characters emotional and very tear-jerky. Mass Effect 2 is the game that draws you in and makes the characters in the game not characters, but relatable people. And then finally, there's Mass Effect 3. Despite the controversial ending, Mass Effect 3 is truly an amazing game. The previous titles lead up to this, making it the most epic and emotional in the entire series. You're preparing for an all-out war with an enemy you've learned to be unstoppable. Mass Effect 3 completes the freakish feat of making you feel hopeless and hopeful simultaneously. You feel like Shepard. You want to save the universe. You want to protect your friends, and if Shepard succeeds, then you succeed. And you feel awesome about it. However, if he fails, then you fail and you feel like a colossal asswipe. All of the hours and hard work you poured into the previous titles show in this game, which is why when things go south, you feel horrible. You feel like everything you did in the past games was futile, and you couldn't stop unfortunate events. It creates a sense of helplessness that no other game has ever achieved for me. However, as the universe's last hope, you have to suck it up and move on with the pain. If you don't, then not just some actions, but everything will have been for nothing, and your crew's sacrifices will have also been for nothing. This is the ending to the tale of Shepard, and a damn good one at that. So there you have it. That's why Mass Effect is awesome and why you should get a soul and play it if you haven't. This is a gaming experience that everyone should have. These are some of the very few games that I would ever give a 10 out of 10 rating for. If you're a gamer, you need these games. That's all.